after I quit drilling, he put me to push. It's a relief push.
Well, tell me something about your daily work, what it was like working on the rig.
Honey,
Well,
when
when
he
you
was
was
pushing
pushing,
tools, he
you
had
didn't do nothing but point your finger and tell him what to do. He told me to stay in that bunkhouse after I had that heart attack.
tell him what you had in the bunkhouse.
Well, you had 4 good bunks, shower, and cook stove, and refrigerator, and everything in there you could live in.
Radio, and did you have a television?
Well, yeah,
Some
they
of
had
them did.
televisions in them.
And he could call from the bunkhouse up on the rig
We
floor.
had well, they had an intercom system. I could talk to them boys on the floor without even going up there. And I just tell them what I wanted, how to keep the mud and everything, and they'd do it.
It wasn't a bad life.
And I had to call a report into the office every morning. They'd make the report out for me and bring it to the bunkhouse. And all I'd have to do is just sit there at that desk and call it in. I wasn't working, I was just going out there.
He's just away from
Now, if the
home.
rig broke down or something, I'd get on the phone, and if I couldn't call and get somebody out there to bring something, I'd have to go get it. Drive and get it, but it wasn't bad. Well, you get up there in Oklahoma sometime, I was up there 9 days. Once the roads was iced over, you couldn't get out of there, out of Oklahoma.
And they paid his expenses.
And when
Could
I was in
go
Illinois,
eat.
I worked 12 hours a day.
Now that's when he was drilling,
and
and that
snow a
was
foot
not
deep
fun.
a lot of times. And it's 18 below zero.
Where?
In
Illinois.
This was back during the war. And we were up there. And he worked 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. And he
You
was
got to
gone
sleep
from
about
home.
4 hours and hunt hands 8.
That's right.
That you was off.
And Sharon and I never saw him. Only for him to come home and get a bath.
Say hunt hands.
Yeah.
You couldn't find hands.
Find
You
people to
couldn't
work. This was back during the war.
All you about all you could hire was a wino. He'd work 3 days long enough to make enough to get drunk on. He'd quit.
No, they had
I worked kids that was 16 years old.
And they called them weevils. And that's, I mean, everybody had gone to war. They was drafted. We couldn't, we had stamps for gasoline, we had stamps for sugar, we had to get stamps to
Well,
get
you had
tires.
food stamps.
Yes.
Stamp for everything. I know I was
Couldn't
out
buy
the rig
tires.
one night and we was talking, this boy was talking about coffee. And I said, well, can't you buy it? He said, no, we don't have any stamps. And I said, well, we don't ever drink coffee. We ought to have some stamps. And I went to the house and we just had a bunch of them. I tore them out of them old books and carried them out there and gave them to them.
We was in,
Did not nobody want to watch that.
we was
Sure
in
not.
Salt Lake City when the war was over. Now he did leave the oil field for a little while and drove a truck for Clarence Lindsey. And we lived in Bountiful. And,
We were out there 10 months.
no, we weren't. Went out in July and left in December.
Laughlin transferred us to
Vernal, Utah.
Vernal, Utah. Told us there's plenty of places to live.
And Esther,
We all sold the furniture. Lester Payne and I was working roughnecking for Lester. Working Derrick. He sold his furniture, they all sold their stuff and went out there and you couldn't find a tree to get under, let
you
alone.
really could,
place
this was
to live.
Vernal, Utah. Now you talk about a boom. but
So
it
we
was a
went on
boom.
to Salt
Really,
Lake
it's
and
really
Esther
close to
said,
it.
I
Well,
don't
it
know.
was. I didn't see a thing. I wanted to go back.
We
from.
went to them mountains and Esther said, I don't know how I'm gonna like Salt Lake. But I'm not going back over these mountains. Get out of here. Well,
But they came back, and
And I
Clarence
stayed out there
talked
and drove a
Raymond
truck.
into staying out there.
drove one of them old 18-wheelers and old wore out Clarence had.
We stayed out there.
Didn't even have nothing but just a Texas driver's license. He wouldn't let me go get one. He said, you don't need one. I said, well, if they catch me, they'll throw me under that jailhouse. Said, if they do, I'll dig you out. And they never did stop me. I never did have an accident, and the highway patrol never did bother.
Hello? Hello? No, I didn't spank him for spilling peanuts. I spanked him for telling me to shut up. Okay? Well, I did spank him and he doesn't love me. But I did. That's right. He did. He did.
That little bud, he don't forget nothing.
He didn't want to be in her show. Well, okay. Well, tell him he's not going to be in the show. But Bebe didn't spank him for spilling peanuts.
Leave that house in the car. He'd say, be careful and don't speed. Because they've got tickets. He'd say, be careful.
Okay, I love you. Okay? You coming back to see me? Okay. Okay, darling. Yeah. Well, he doesn't go. I'm going to go. No, you don't need to. Well, I guess. No, I'll be fine.
You gotta leave
Well,
pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm going to have to leave in a little bit. A few minutes. Okay? Okay. Love you. Bye. Jake said, that woman wanted me to be in her show and said I didn't want to be in her show. And he said, Bebe spanked me for spilling peanuts and said I couldn't have Aunt Myrtle's rolls. Oh, he is a mess.
I brought him a dozen rolls. His mother said, carry him by there. And he ran out and said, Daddy, Aunt Myrtle sent me rolls. And every time I go out there, he wants to go with Aunt Myrtle to get rolls. Dave said he eats 6 of them, and Dave eat the other 6. Well, it isn't at one time.
Well, I would have.
She makes pretty good
Well, it's 3 or 4 where you put in that microwave and get hot. If she'd eat them, y'all could eat them with some butter.
Not right now. We had sausage and biscuit and
Was your husband home today?
cheese this morning. No, but I fixed it for Scotty before he went to school.
Have you still got one at home?
11 years old.
11, yeah.
He's back.
No, he's Glenn's, and his mother lives in Oregon.
Oh. Okay.
But I've had him since before he was 2, so
Well, he's
I'm
yours.
mom. Yeah.
Is that your grandson?
No,
this is
darling.
Glenn's son.
It's Glenn, her husband's son.
Oh.
And Scotty's mother lives in Oregon.
Is this the only child Glenn has?
Oh no, he has 3 others.
But they're all grown.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got 11-year-old in school. And how many grandchildren?
4. Yeah, I got one son married, and he's got 4 kids. Finally got a little granddaughter.
Is that Gary?
No, Gary's
Gary's not
prob-
married?
Not yet, but he proposed the other day.
But now he's the one that's Christy's age, right?
Mhm.
Where does he live?
He's in Dallas.
And he's 28. Never been married. I think that's the one that Christy had a crush on when they was growing up.
Yeah, I
Said if he wasn't her cousin, she'd marry him.
We should married him anyway.
Oh.
And now I've got one that's almost 30 that's
Not married?
not married. And Danny, I guess, is almost 32. Yeah, Danny
He's the one that's married.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one that's got the 4.
Mm-hmm.
3 boys and a girl.
No, she's just got...
Yeah. Danny has 3 boys and a girl.
Okay. Well, I guess we've got all we're going to have unless Christy has some more. So, but 10's
Well, she,
Pretty good
if
size.
she thought it would be a girl, she'd want one. But if she thought it'd be another boy, they figured they got enough.
Hey, they got their hands full.
I'd try this one more time.
Well, I imagine she will. I
Mm.
imagine she will.
But she can wait a while. Those are two.
Well, honey,
really
those
little.
are too close together. She doesn't need, and they are handfuls. They really are.
Bless her heart. I bet they're a
Well,
load for her.
Now, they mind pretty good.
Dave is real good with
Well,
them.
I don't care how good they are. They're a
See,
handful.
they are still
See,
a
Dane or
handful.
Christy, neither one works. They just fire their off. Christy be better off she get out and work.
How old were
Part-time.
your, how close were yours?
Right at 2 years.
You
Okay.
got
Little
that
less.
shut off, haven't
No, it's on. I'm not missing a thing here.
She's not missing, she's getting everything. Oh, me. Well, you need to talk. I'm fixing that.
you? Well, it's about
Go.
time
Well.
she's shutting it off.
I don't know what time it is, but I want to sit here till I run out this tape, which I
Okay.
guess it was 10:30 before I got here.
How long does it take?
It'll probably be 1:30 before I. No,
Oh.
10:30. 11:30. It lasts 2 hours. The tape lasts
2
2
hours.
hours.
So it'll be 12:30.
Yeah, or 1. You know, we stopped a few times.
Yeah.
You gotta be gone for then.
Well, darling,
when
she
she
can,
has to go, she can just go,
do you
and then we'll just talk to you.
and let you handle it. What would you like to say to you girls?
Just
They know what I'd like to say to them.
We'll say it anyway, so they can hear you.
So they can hear you. They have been wanting us to make a tape. Christy's always saying, Mother, now I want you to.
For them to get in line and not where I won't have to worry about them so much. Make them grandkids.
She'll say, Mother, you need to tell me that not to worry. She'll call, you know, and have a problem, and I'll say, well, now, Christy's not even needing worry about it. Well, you need to make a tape that says don't worry. And, of course, my favorite thing to Sharon always was, well, when you get to the end of your rope, well, you just tie a knot in it and hang on, you know. You
Well-
don't ever give up.
Last week Sharon's up here and asked me how I felt, and I said, I'm ready to cross the river. She said, I want to go with you. she felt so bad too, she wanted to go.
We've got some
Sharon
real
don't
good
feel like
kids. We
going to
really
them
have.
shows on Saturday night.
Well,
Sharon's
it's
bad,
probably
so-
what keeps her going though. It really is, because otherwise she would probably lay down, and, you know, and she enjoys singing. She
Oh, yeah.
really does.
You see that?
They said that, we were in Dallas over the weekend, and Raymond was down at Paula's, but she sang in our ward Sunday morning. And Esther was telling me yesterday, she said, that's the prettiest song I ever heard. She said, I just sat there and cried. And I don't know how many people called telling,
Well, it's
how
about
well she
missionaries.
sung. Said it was beautiful.
What'd you say?
It was about missionaries, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Well, what, and is it laying over there?
No, she. It's not.
I read the song.
Oh, well, I didn't read it. Stephen Tefteller had brought it, the music up here, and poor little thing didn't even get to practice. And, well, she said, you know, I was going to be up there at 10, and I woke up, and our sacrament starts at 11. So she said, I just did get my clothes on and get up there. Sharon's always late.
She never laid it Paula.
No. No, she's not every lady's Paula. They all
I told
procrastinate
Paula
the
there wasn't
time.
one
These
thing.
sound like
she-
my kind of people.
I told Paula that just one thing she wouldn't be late to, and that was her funeral. She wouldn't have anything to do with that.
Bless her heart. We've always called her Connie. We really have. Because now she has one speed, and that's slow. And, but now her children, she is a good mother as far as seeing after their needs. but she is so slow. But
Well,
if she gets up 30 minutes late, she still goes through the same routine as she'd went through if she'd have got up an hour early, you know. I mean, that's just the way she does it. She just
And
doesn't.
I tell her, I said, these kids don't live with you, you live with them. And she does.
But she does love
They
them.
order just what they want to eat, and she fixes it. And if they decide they want that, they'll order something else. She'll fix it.
Oh.
Now, who are these kids you're talking about?
All the babies.
Bronwyn and Brianna.
One of them will be 5 in May, and another will be 9 in May.
Is this
These are
boys or
tall
girls?
girls.
Both
Two
girls.
little girls.
They are.
We have the 10. We've got Amy, Catherine. We've got Jason, Lindsey. We've got Shannon Lee. We've got Alyssa Mache. Carrie, Kathleen. Bronwyn, Shay. Oh, I forgot Casey. Raymond Casey. Can't forget him. And Brianna Kay. And Jacob Aaron. And Brady Christopher. That's all of our precious grandchildren.
When Casey got, they named him Raymond Casey and called him Casey in Houston.
Well, we were gonna call, he came 2 months early, and he was in neonatal intensive care for 30 days.
And the bill was $26,000.
Did not think that he was gonna make it, but on his little bed, it had Raymond Casey Tate. And they was calling him Raymond, and so Tom finally told him, said, we're not gonna call him Raymond, we're gonna call him Casey. So they put another thing up there, and it said, my name is Raymond Casey Tate, but call me Casey.
And when they moved to that Plano from Houston,
He changed his name.
he changed his name. He had them to call him Raymond.
He does.
He's
He
called
played-
Raymond, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
He,
How old is he?
11. They, see, the only effect of him coming early, and he had a brain hemorrhage when he was 3 days old. He has cerebral palsy in one leg, and he can't put that foot down.
The Shriners had him for a long time. They didn't do him any good, and then Tom took him, and
But
they were
something's
doing
wrong.
good, but they quit.
He was in a brace, and
He didn't like
he
to
was in
wear
a
the
cast,
brace.
and well, they made fun of him. You know how
The
kids
kids
are.
at school.
But he's becoming self-conscious of that foot now. So Kathy said they was gonna have to do
When
something
he
else
runs,
for him.
when he walks on his toe on one foot.
Well, the leg is shorter, right?
Mhm. What it is those leaders in the back of his legs are drawn. And that's the only, I mean, he's the smartest little thing, and, but that's the only effect that it
He
had.
played
You know,
Little
we
League
didn't know
ball
what.
last year, and he pitched some, and one game he got a triple and drove in 2 or 3 runs and scored a couple, and they gave him 2 tickets to see the
Oh, he was the VIP, the most valuable
player, and he
you know.
got 2 tickets to see the Rangers and the Yankees play.
He's a cute boy. He really is. They are a joy. They really are.
You know, you learn what unconditional love is with your grandchildren,
You really
don't
do.
you?
You
know,
really do.
I know
And- Go ahead.
our children feel like your love or our love is on condition that they be
Do
good.
things, right,
Be good,
right.
please you know.
Mhm.
But I think grandchildren help us to realize that too, and that
That's right.
maybe they
That's
help us to
right.
overcome it.
Yes, because with your children, you do learn, you know, that you're supposed to love unconditionally. But we don't always do that, and we should. And so with the grandchildren, like you say, you do learn that. You learn that you love them no matter. Christy used to say that I upset her when I tell her that I loved her but I didn't like her, you know. And she said, that just break my heart. And I said, well, but the thing of it is, you love you no matter what, but you don't like what you do always, you know. But you still love regardless, you know. Well, but she said, I didn't understand that, Mother. And I said, well, that's just the way it is. Well, Daddy, I'm doing all the talking. You're supposed to be talking.
Well, that's fine. You're gonna have to go and he's gonna talk.
I am. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to go
But now
brush my teeth.
don't stay too long, but I mean, stay as long as you can, but don't put yourself in a bind.
Well, I'm not. I'm gonna.
Where are you going in?
Well, I can go in whatever you want me to go in. You want me to
Well-
go in Jake's pickup?
You can go in if you want to, but if you
Well,
go in
I'll put some
there, I may
gas.
drive your mail car, need to drive and live
You
in
need to
there.
drive it. Go ahead. Okay.
Well, listen.
Well, I've enjoyed it.
I need you to tell me if you got time.
Okay.
About your career. You know, you said you stayed home with the children
Oh.
and didn't work.
I stayed home with the children until after I had Christy. When I got pregnant with Christy, I had 120, 116, and 112. And I don't think I ever got over the shock. That's what I tell Christy. But anyway, Sharon Ray was embarrassed that we would have a child. I was 39. Paula thought it was funny, and Kathy Jane thought it was wonderful. She was the most excited thing to think that we were going to have a baby. And anyway, the first time we went to church and I had on a maternity dress, Kathy would walk around with me and she'd just pat me on the back. She wanted everybody to see that her mother was going to have a baby.
What did she tell you about when she come to the hospital?
Oh, and she came to the hospital and she didn't even want to see me. She stood at that nursery window, and every time somebody would walk up, she would point and she'd say, that's mine. That's mine. And Albertine had Dean 6 weeks after I had Christy. And she said, I was so jealous of you. She said, there you had all those babysitters. They would take turns sleeping in the back room with Christy at night and let me have a night, you know, that I didn't have to get up. They'd get up with that 2 o'clock bottle and feed her and take care of her. But they were all real foolish over her. But Kathy Jane, I guess, was the most thrilled that we had a new baby at that age. And then I didn't work until Christy was probably about 6. And the first job I ever had, I worked up at Marshall's department store at one of their sales, and it liked to kill me, standing on my feet. And then I worked at Bell's for a while. And then I went to work at Denson's Pharmacy and worked there for 5 years. And that's when I started paying a full tithe. And I told the Lord if He would give me strength to work, that I would pay tithing, and I did. And then after Raymond had his heart attack,
Went to Mississippi.
no, I did. I went to Mississippi and worked for Vi down there in a dress store and left Christy and Raymond here. And then when I come back, we took the
Church.
custodian job at the church, and we kept that 6 years,
So,
7 years we worked down there. And in the meantime, I had taken a test for a rural mail care job, a sub, you know. Never thought a thing in the world about it. Went to Tyler and took it, and it had been almost 2 years. And I got a letter from the post office up here and asked if I was interested, and I went up there and talked to them. And Scott Pickett was on sick leave. He was sick, and they had a visiting postmaster that was just taking over. And for some reason, he liked me, and he hired me.
You were how old?
I was 54, and I went to work for Richard Yoakum as a sub mail carrier. And the first time that I worked a week, I'd worked 3 days that week, and I was coming in, and I thought, I don't have to do this. I've got a husband that'll make me a living, and they can take it, you know. And then I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. I said, they don't think I can do it, and I'll show them if it kills me, and it almost did. And then I worked as a sub for 5 years, and this is my 7th year as a regular carrier, and I love it. Just have a ball out there. The money's good, and I just truly believe that the Lord intended for me to have it because, you know, since Raymond got sick, we needed the money, we needed the insurance that I get. The retirement, I'm not going to have that much, but it will help when I retire. And now my kids think I'm crazy, but I enjoy every minute I'm out on that route. And I have 530 boxes, and I have 80 miles that I do 5 days a week. And they tell me at the post office that I'm their inspiration, that I'm what makes life go on up there, and and that does my ego good. So I'm planning on going back. Go.
Now you got to go for therapy, huh?
Now I got to go for therapy on my arm so I can go to work.
And you got to run that tape all the way.
Oh, I don't have to. When you want to do something else, if you need to stop, we'll stop.
Well,
And I mean,
I tell you, that oil field work that I done, that's pretty rough work. I worked down here in this East Texas field. And 5 of us, 5 men, to go out there and rig up one of those big rigs and set it up with 3 big boilers as steam rigs and make the surface hole and run the pipe and cement it and come home and get 12 hours. If you ask 3 crews to do it in less than 3 days now, they'd quit. They wouldn't know way they'd do it in 2. They'd all walk off. That's how hard we had to work.
Yeah, well, see, you just tell me a while ago the easy job you have, and now tell me more about this hard job you have.
Well, that was when I first starting out, see. We'd go out there and wade mud and carry drill pipe. That old heavy pipe weighed 600 pounds, the joint of it. 2 men would get it, one on one end, one on the other, and put it on your shoulder and wade mud. String it, making pipe out. And it's just hard work. This men sit out there on that wall around that reserve pit, look like a bunch of turkey buzzards waiting for somebody to fall out where they get their job. Their jobs are scarce. That was when oil was 10 cents a barrel. You buy gasoline for a nickel a gallon.
It's 1930 what?
31. That's during the Big Depression.
Now, what part of the oil field did you start in?
Well, the first oil field work I did was down here in East Texas. But I had worked on a rig for the Freeport Sulphur Company, drilling sulphur wells. But then when I just quit down there. I got tired eating that sulphur. They laid off a bunch of Mexicans.
Where, at Freeport?
Yeah, and put us down there unloading them carloads of sulphur in them ships. And Azell Johnson was down there with me that night. We unloaded 90 car loads 120 tons of sulfur in each car in one night. And we
How'd you unload it, by hand, by
no,
forklift?
you open the bottom doors of the cars and it just falls out, but you had to get up on there and punch it to a lot of clods and lumps. And if one of those clods hit in that chute down there and knocked a spark, it is just a flash in your face, just like gunpowder. That's what they use sulfur to make a match strike. And that burning sulfur killed you quick. We had wet rag tied around our face, our nose, and eyes, a mask over our eyes and everything. I worked down there one night and told them I could eat East Texas feed better than I could eat sulfur. Because they said the average life of a man working in that is 8 or 9 years. And I come up here and went to work 12 hours a day from sun up to sundown for $1 a day. I was getting 50 cents an hour down there. But Azal stayed. He said that was the worst night they had ever had. He said he wound up with a good job down there.
Azell Johnson? Well, how long did he stay?
I don't know how long he stayed on that job, but then later he stayed down that country a long time. He got, his oldest son still lived there. But that oil field work is rough. And people thought you made big money, but you didn't make big money. You spent it for clothes and transportation mostly. I have drove from here to Indiana just for a 20-day job, work up there, and then come back. You didn't make no money working in the oil field. You just existed like everybody else was doing. But people thought you made big money.
Well, what county did you work in East Texas?
What counties? Well, I worked in Upshur County and Smith County and Wood County, Franklin County, Anderson County, Houston County, Rusk County, Henderson County. I worked a lot in East Texas, and I worked in Arkansas, I worked in Louisiana, I worked a lot in Oklahoma, up around Oklahoma City and up way up beyond Oklahoma City.
Tulsa?
No, I worked about 50 miles from Tulsa on some job, but it's right on the Kansas line up there. But most of the work was around Oklahoma City and this side. It's deep well. Last well I worked on up there went 22,000 foot deep. The company I worked for had a rig that would go 35,000 feet deep, but he never drilled a foot of hole with it. And he went bankrupt. Now,